my favorite examples is captioning, something that has been developed by and for the disability community and something that everybody uses today, whether they have a disability or not. But we also know the importance of this talent having access to education, having access to inclusive education, and once they are in the workforce, knowing that they have the accommodation and resources they need in order to be successful. So I'm really, really excited about today. I have some fantastic panelists. We're going to take a tour around the world in terms of what they're doing and how they're supporting this important space. And I'll read a few things about them, and apologies I'm reading, but they have such a wealth of information and careers, I do not want to get it wrong. We have with us Michelle. Michelle is the founder and director of iSchoolAfrica Educational Trust based in South Africa. iSchoolAfrica Education Trust is a non-profit organization bringing educational technology and digital skills to underserved schools in South Africa. In 2022, it launched the Deaf Developers Program to teach deaf youth iOS app development, work readiness, and real-life projects. We also have Antal. Antal is the co-founder and investor of SignCoders. SignCoders is a digital agency dedicated to creating digital career opportunities for the deaf and hard of hearing community. Next to me, Dr. Joseph, who is the president of the World Federation of the Deaf, which is one of the largest international disability NGOs with 137 member countries and over 2/3 of the global south. Dr. Joseph is also a professor of deaf studies at Gallaudet University and has published widely on language rights, human rights, and applied linguists. And last but certainly not least, Jiang, who is the Vice Dean of the Special Education for the Changsha Vocational and Technical College in Yunnan. The center focuses on high-quality vocational education and training. Each of them we will have some time to present their work, and we will start with Antal. Antal? Okay. Whatever you're comfortable with, and you have a mic.
Is this, oh yeah, it does work, very good. Okay, time there, and we are up there. Okay, so hello, I'm Antal. I'm 50-something with a business casual attire. My name sign is this. Normally I have much longer hair, but for this conference I tried to look okay at least. With some familiar faces, very nice. Thank you for this occasion. So I'm, as Ioana said, Ioana said, I'm founder and investor at SignCoders, and we are based in Budapest, Hungary. So our mission is to create digital career opportunities for the deaf community. That's our why. This is ingrained in our company. All our employees are hearing impaired. So think about our meetings being in sign language. So it's very funny because sometimes being in the digital industry, sometimes we have to invent new signs for our purposes. And what we do is software development, web design, and testing. We even have one of our clients in the room, so he can tell you about how it went. So the three main ingredients of SignCoders is equal career opportunities. I think everybody who knows this community knows it's sometimes very, very difficult to have that opportunity. I think on this conference we've heard a lot about this, that, how difficult is it sometimes for deaf people to acquire a real opportunity, and that's what SignCoders offers to our talent. We have built accessible communications within the team, but also with our clients, and it's very interesting. One of our long-term clients said that our strength One of our strengths is the communication, which is interesting, and it turns out, I asked her what she meant exactly, and she meant that my colleagues know how important precise communication is, and that's why it's much easier. So she says, our client says that it's very good to communicate with our IT professionals, because the communication is precise and there is a focus on. So she says is basically with the majority, so for the majority of society, an average IT person is not that communicative as our colleagues. And empowerment is extremely important for us. And one of the examples is that our CEO is a deaf person, so he's standing on the left, and sitting is our disability expert, our wonderful graphic designer, Anna, she's in the middle, and on the right is my co-founder and CTO, Eric. So our innovation is a social innovation. That means that we know for it a fact, because if it wasn't innovative, then it would be a much easier sell. And because it's hard, that's why I know we are quite innovative, to be honest. So we offer IT careers for those who are ambitious enough to want to work in IT. We offer inclusive tech trainings, and altogether we provide equal opportunity. That means my colleagues know that the company is for them, and that creates a unique atmosphere. And we use digital products left, right, and center, and we produce also in international corporations digital education materials. So the impact, there are different layers of impact that we create. So I mentioned empowerment, and just think about it. When we started out 5 years ago, when in a meeting I asked, do you have any comment or question? And there was no comment, no question, everything was all clear. So my colleagues had to learn that when I asked that, do you want to contribute to the meeting? I really mean it. That was one of the first things that we had to start with. Now we are much more on equal footing, and it's fantastic how they feel empowered, and they are much more included in our daily life. So we created an inclusive workplace. And we strongly believe that we created an example that I want other people to copy us. You know, I want other people to steal our initiative. So I really want to be copied. Being a love project means that there are a lot of aspects to it. I mentioned our deaf CEO, but our team members who feel that the company is for them, they are so much more motivated. I would dare to say that more motivated than the average IT person at an average company. Microsoft obviously excluded. And we have an international network, and it's lovely to see my colleagues doing the same thing. I'm standing here at a conference, but my colleagues travel to Vienna, to Italy, to Greece, to the Netherlands, and that's also fantastic. They are role models, and that's what we want. We want to show that it's like a kind of an X factor. If other people, other youth in the community see that it's possible to work for such a company, we want to produce those role models. We have cashed in a few awards. One in Vienna, we received. We actually made it to the finals in the Social Marie Awards, And yeah, I mean, we want to grow. So if any financial backers in the room, just don't hesitate to come like now. We want to raise funds and we want to grow the business. And basically we have two main strategic directions right now. One is in this conference there was a lot of talk about accessibility, so we are providing software testing services, and we are coming to Vienna for Vienna beware, SignCoders is coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Antal. I learned a few things. One, a reminder in terms of, feel free to sit down, no worries.
Okay.
One of the few things being the importance of deaf leadership and really having role models that represent the same values, and also staying curious, right? Staying open to how do we best collaborate. On that note, I was talking about education and the importance of education, so I will go to Jiang to share more about what their organization is doing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chong from Changsha Vocational and Technical College in Hunan Province, China. I'm extremely grateful to the Zero Project for establishing this highly significant communication platform. First of all, I will talk about the school overview and project background. This College of Special Education launched higher vocational education programs for people with disabilities in 2002. Currently, there are 282 hearing impaired students on campus, and we have cumulatively cultivated over 2,000 technical talents with disabilities. We are constantly committed to promoting the sustainable development of vocational education for people with disabilities, deepening the integration of industry and education, and creating a sustainable career development path for hearing impaired students. Secondly, the project content and features. Our vocational education for people with disabilities designs courses centered on the realization of students' personal values. The visual communication design major covers courses such as digital painting and cultural and creative project design. The computer network technology focuses on technologies like UAV, assembly, and aerial survey data processing. The automotive detection and maintenance technology includes practical skills such as carving, pasting technology, and painting surface protection. We also impart teaching with digital technologies to enhance teaching effectiveness. In terms of government, enterprises, school cooperation, the government provides policy and resources support. Enterprises offer internship and employment opportunities and participate in talent cultivation. Multiple parties collaborate to create all-round guarantee conditions for students from enrollment to employment. Thirdly, the project innovation and achievements. Distinctive professional features. We are the only university in China to offer automotive and UAV majors for hearing impaired students. The curricular design takes into account the characteristics of hearing-impaired students and integrates cutting-edge technologies and practical skills, significantly enhancing schools' recognition in the field of special education. Favorable barrier-free vocational education ecology. The campus has complete barrier-free facilities, creating a fully friendly learning and living environment for hearing-impaired students and fostering an inclusive and equal educational atmosphere. In-depth industry education, integration, and talent cultivation model. We organize students to participate in real-world enterprise projects such as UAV field operations and car film pasting in automotive enterprises. We also promote joint scientific research between teachers and enterprises and feed the results back into teaching, achieving a seamless connection between the education chain and the industry chain. These innovative measures have achieved remarkable results. The employment rate of the art and computer majors has exceeded 96% for 3 consecutive years, and the employment rate of the automotive major has reached 100%. Outstanding graduates like Hu Shijun founded a decoration company, won national level entrepreneurship revolves, and undertook large-scale projects. Lu Yuebing started a business through the Internet Plus breeding model with an annual sales volume of over 2 million yuan. Ma Lingjun led a deaf people's team to start a business and won the Gold Award in the Internet Plus competition. And successful experiences and cases. Inclusive education, creating a new educational paradigm. We break through the boundaries of traditional education and build a two-way empowerment talent cultivation model. Through the establishment of a 1+1 growth community between hearing-impaired students and special education normal students, we achieve mutual learning and complementary advantages. The high-quality employment model for deaf people project jointly created by disabled and non-disabled students in our school won the Gold Award in the China International Internet Plus College Students Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition, creating a new paradigm for value co-creation inclusive education. Fruitful school enterprise cooperation, we have created a 3-dimensional integrated industry education integration ecosystem and built a 4-chain cultivation system of production, education, research, training, and innovation. We innovatively established an employment and entrepreneurship incubation base for people with disabilities, opening up the transformation channel from works, products, commodities. We have a deeper school to enterprises, collaborative talent cultivation, and received 3-dimensional support from enterprises, such as donations of the consumables and technical support. For example, top global technicians are standard on campus to guide film pasting technology, achieve a seamless connection between the education chain and the industry chain. Alumni contribution and continued success. We have constructed an alumni feedback talent cultivation closed loop. Well, understanding graduates serve as career navigators. For example, Ma Lingjun has transformed from a graduate to a technical backbone and then to a training instructor. He has developed modular training courses, transformed cutting-edge technologies into teaching resources, and formed a sustainable mentor apprenticeship development model. Sources of funds and challenges. Sources of funds. The government attached great importance to the education of people with disabilities. The municipal finance provides 3 times the average public funds per student for hearing impaired high vocational students, and the pre-visual disabled persons Federation provides 1.5 million yuan of lottery public welfare funds every year. The challenges. The industry technology is changing rapidly, and the teaching team lags behind in keeping up with the industry forefront and updating their own skills. The teaching staff structure is not reasonable enough, with a shortage of highly skilled practical professional teachers. Some enterprises still have cognitive biases towards people with disabilities, and the employment information channels for people with disabilities are narrow, make it difficult to match skills with jobs. Future plans and international cooperation. Building a collaborative talent cultivation platform. We plan to take the lead in establishing an industry to education integration community. Yes, we plan to take the lead in establishing an industry education integration community for vocational education of people with disability in Hunan province to improve the quality of the vocational education for people with disabilities, improving the employment service and the support system. We will jointly establish a technical talent database for people with disability with the UAV industry, automotive enterprises, etc., to broaden employment channels and promote the sustainable career development of people with disabilities. Strengthening international cooperation and exchanges. We look forward to jointly building a special education research center with international vocational colleges, introducing internationally certified courses, exporting excellent school running achievements, exploring the path of sustainable career development for people with disabilities, and contributing to global vocational education for people with disabilities. The final is the conclusion. Dear fellows, vocational education for people with disabilities is a course full of challenges, but also full of hope. We look forward to joining hands with colleagues worldwide to jointly promote the sustainable development of vocational education for people with disabilities and contribute to building an inclusive and equal society. Thanks all of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And can I just say how impressive the statistics are regarding employment? That is a fantastic job, and I'm hoping other educational institutions are certainly learning by example. With that, I will head over to Michelle.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle. My South African sign name is Michelle. And it really is a privilege to be here this afternoon. I would like to start my presentation with a quote by Bishop Tutu, a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And this is really my favorite quote. There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. And I think in South Africa, there are 2 main reasons why our children are falling into the river, especially our children with disabilities. One is lack of access to quality education, and the other is lack of access to employable skills. With this in mind, iSchoolAfrica was established in 2009 to bring the world's best technology to the most marginalized communities in South Africa, with inclusion and access to quality education for all being one of our absolute priorities in our everyday programs. Unfortunately, we all know the statistics too well. In South Africa, 89% of people with disabilities are unemployed. And I need to give you the context of this is because we're living in a country where 32% of people are unemployed. So here you've got a huge unemployment number where I've been speaking to people at the conference who are living in countries with 2% unemployment. And then we've got this huge demand for high technical skills. So the iSchoolAfrica program, main reason for being was to bring together the high rate of disability unemployment with the high need for technical scarce skills. And with that in mind, we launched the Deaf Developer Program. The Deaf Developer Program is an 8-month program that trained deaf youth to become iOS app developers. And there were really 3 main aspects of this program. One, we wanted to give our deaf youth a global certification to make sure that it wasn't just another internship or another learnship. One of our deaf youths actually said they've been on 12 deaf learnerships without gaining meaningful employment. 2 is we wanted to make sure it included work readiness. And 3, we wanted to make sure we trained not only the deaf youth, but the higher ed faculty as well as the workplaces to make sure that we're creating more inclusive workplaces for youth with disabilities. And I think I'm really excited to share with you some of the successes and innovations. One is that 7 out of our 8 youth are employed as app developers. One of them is doing their own work, which is in itself a meaningful work. We also, 3 of the graduates also train school-going deaf youth to code. And this is amazing because it offers these deaf youth amazing role models. And through the course, we realized that there was so much terminology in South African Sign Language, that there was so much terminology that didn't exist in South African Sign Language. So we officially introduced more than 100 coding terms to the South African Sign Language Dictionary. So I think, what does the future hold? I think our biggest challenge, and it's been a theme of the conference, is 10 or 8 deaf youth is not enough. We need to look at how to scale. So we're going to make sure that the success of this cohort is right. We're going to make sure that we look at other disabilities, and we're also going to make sure that through working with schools, we create a pipeline, not just wait till higher education, but we actually introduce the skills lower on in the K-12 environment. So in order to end my presentation, what better way for me to share with you the experiences of Chue, who is one of the deaf cohort, who's currently now a junior app development at iStore, which is the Apple premium reseller in South Africa. I'd love you to hear from Chue.
Being part of a community that actively promotes inclusivity and celebrates variety has been tremendously inspiring. I've had the chance to work and interact with people who are very passionate about changing the world, and this has motivated me to aim high in everything that I do. And professionally, iSchoolAfrica has allowed me to grow and show my abilities. It has been immensely fulfilling to work on creative projects that addresses the needs of people with disabilities. And my development as an app developer has been greatly aided by the encouragement and support I've received from the iSchoolAfrica staff. And my understanding of the value of inclusivity has expanded as a result of so many projects that emphasize on accessibility, which helps to make technology that will benefit everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And again, some very great reminders there. One, talent development crucial, but it's also about how we create the ecosystem and environment for them to thrive. How do we empower the employers? How do we empower the environment to be supportive? And absolutely wonderful accomplishment in terms of what you've done, and also how sign language has evolved as a result of your work. I know I have a positive bias for coders who are deaf, so I'm hoping to see more and more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And with that, let's give Michelle a show of hands. And we'll pass it to Dr. Joseph.
Hello, thank you. Could I get the camera on the panel, please? A little bit to the left. Thank you so much. Little to the left, a little bit more. The guy without hair. Thank you so much. Thank you and good afternoon. The World Federation of the Deaf is an international, non-governmental organization representing and promoting more than 70 million deaf people's human rights around the world. We are the world's oldest continuously operating international disability organization. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 75th anniversary. Through our advocacy work, along with 137 national organizations of deaf people in 137 countries, we work toward a vision. Our vision is a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. And we achieve this vision through the right to sign language for every deaf person. It must be provided, promoted, and fulfilled in line with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in all areas of our lives, including employment and access to technology. Deaf people are intersectional. Disability rights holders and members of linguistic and cultural minorities through the use of more than 200 different national and indigenous sign languages around the world. We all know the dismal statistics about disability employment and underemployment, with up to 90% unemployment rates in developing countries and up to 70% in the global north. Deaf signing people are within the most excluded from access to employment opportunities because most employers try to avoid hiring sign language interpreters. Just a moment. Here we are. I think we might have a tech issue. Just a moment, please. Next slide for myself. Here we are. Okay. The World Federation of the Deaf aims to promote access to inclusive labor markets with a sign language environment, with equal working conditions and salary as their non-deaf peers. However, little information is known about the practical implications of such access. What does the right to fair and inclusive employment with a sign language environment entail for deaf people? It starts with attitude. The World Federation of the Deaf strives to challenge attitudes to value deaf people's contributions as part of the deaf gain perspective. Deaf gain is a concept that I co-developed and is designed as reframing deaf as a form of sensory and cognitive diversity that continues to the greater good of humanity. We strongly encourage the promotion of inclusive employment environments where both employers and employees learn sign language and visual communication to interact with their deaf colleagues. Additionally, professionally qualified sign language interpreters should be provided in collective and formal meetings and events at work. Advances in ICT have had a positive impact on deaf people's participation in society. One, to access information, deaf people have used visual solutions such as videos, subtitles, and images. And second, to communicate. Deaf people use text messaging and emails on smartphones with video conferencing technologies, both with synchronous and asynchronous communication in national sign languages, and the provision of remote sign language interpretation services. Governments have an obligation to ensure and endorse ICT innovation solutions that include our perspectives so that we have an equal playing field for employment, such as video-based sign language interpreting that incur no additional cost for deaf people. Technological solutions that rely on auditory signals alone create barriers for deaf people. In emergencies, auditory alerts and radio announcements exclude them, leading to grave impacts during conflicts where they lack real-time information on missile attacks, for example. Universally adequate technology solutions exist. The public authorities often fail to provide them. This violates the principle of the universal design for all under the Article 2 of the CRPD. Users of national sign languages bring new sensory and spatial perspectives to their work. Learning and using sign languages, excuse me one moment. Learning and using sign languages strengthens certain cognitive abilities, such as the ability to generate and manipulate mental images. Using sign languages also strengthens your spatial memory. Deaf people's sign language gain is a unique form of gain with untapped potential. For example, in Oaxaca, Mexico, the police hire deaf people to monitor security cameras because their visual attention skills make them better at this work. Many examples exist nowadays where deaf people contribute to developments that are of a high benefit to production and innovation in the employment sector. One business consultant highlights the collective culture of deaf communities as lessons that could improve productivity at different workplaces. For example, sign language users position themselves in circular configurations to ensure everyone can access the discussion. We have seen this being implemented with other non-deaf environments, which improves communication and engagement for all. Looking outside of the norm, the differences we see in deaf communities are valuable resources for all. The WFD emphasizes that governments and private enterprises comply with co-design principles by consulting with representative organizations of deaf people under Article 4.3 of the CRPD. Too often, technologies like sign language gloves gain media attention, funding, and also awards, but they are useless for deaf people and deaf communities. Developers without experience and knowledge of deaf people's realities should involve deaf organizations as equal co-creators from the start. National sign languages have a huge potential to be even more prominently used with AI-based technologies. However, current efforts are mostly focused on language translation, where these new technologies are still in their early stages and far from ready from daily use. With more than 200 national and indigenous sign languages used worldwide, it is crucial to consider how the development of AI technologies will affect them. AI has so much potential, but should not be held back by attitudes from pre-CRPD days. Deaf people's lives do not revolve around translation apps. AI has a huge potential to transform our workplaces for the better if you involve deaf people as equal partners or leaders from the beginning. Thank you so much for your attention. We invite you all to join us in our work. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and what a great reminder about the importance of co-creation and how we should make sure that deaf talent and deaf organizations are involved in creating technology that truly serves those communities. And as employers, I have a call out. You should be hiring deaf talent, non-negotiable. Now, I know I have many questions for our panelists, but before I dive into it, any questions from our audience? Don't be shy, folks. We have a question over there. I don't know if we have a mic available to, or.
I have a question for Dr. Joseph Murray. I would first like to say thank you for mentioning AI technology and gloves, sign language gloves. It is true that most people see those and think that this is a real solution to a problem. But we struggle with that. And I would love people to give attention to the deaf community and listen to what they want. So thank you so much for saying that. I'm so proud of you that you said that. This is Dr. Murray speaking. I think the basic point is if you make a product from you imagine what people with disabilities need, you're doing something wrong. You have to make products after a dialogue with people with disabilities, people in the deaf community. Ask them what they want and then make a product. Not what you imagine, but what they actually need and will use for their human rights.
Any other questions? We have a question at the back.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. I'm Maria de Los Ángeles de Rueda. I'm president of the Emeritus Committee for the Blind and Deaf in Guatemala, and we are also members of the National Federation of the Blind. And we appreciate your great exposition of today. Thank you, Dr. Marie. And my question is how to encourage young people, deaf people, to pursue and continue their education in order to get higher education, to follow their dreams and follow their goals and ask for a better education and keep going about having their dreams come true. Thanks a lot.
Anybody want to take that particular question? Michelle and then Antal? One more. Oh. 1 second. We have a bit of a tech issue.
Yes.
Not what we've seen has worked very well, and it's not very academic or very strategic, but is really looking at role models in the community and really giving role models a voice and educate, because I think the narrative, especially, and I talk from a South African perspective, is that deaf people are like they put into different boxes on what they can achieve without being exposed to other careers and to their potential and everything. So I think really is the exposure and as you would have in mainstream, you have the role models, the career days, and really when we take our young deaf developers into schools and they hear about their process, that role modeling has been very successful. Thank you.
Antal?
Yeah, I would love to add to exactly that. We invited teenagers from a specific tech school to our offices. And previously they warned us that these are young people, so they have no patience beyond 30 minutes. And then after 90 minutes, I asked, can we have a break? Because they were glued to our employees, and beyond the teenagers, it was the teachers who were the most, they said that this was the first time that they were at a company that made their profession meaningful. So that was the first time they saw it actually makes sense what they do, which was, wow, you can imagine.
Dr. Joseph?
Thank you so much. Great question, and thank you for asking that. I think we've already seen the panel have many good ideas and examples of best practices. I would like to add that I have seen some important mentorship and networks of peers. They have other deaf people that can model behavior that they learn from, and they co-advocate for each other for progress. Where leadership is available is that we have to create a network. For example, we have something called Dr. Deaf, where we help people who are deaf get PhDs by meeting with one another. And I've had one person say this, in this 1-week conversation, I've learned more than I learned at a year in my university. Deaf people need both. They need to be integrated and mainstreamed into society, but also given a space where we share information and support each other. Both simultaneously are critical.
Any final questions? Going once, going twice. I just want to say a huge thank you to our panelists. I know I have learned a great deal today, and I hope that all of us feel empowered to support deaf talent and to hire deaf talent in our respective organizations. Thank you so very much.